I would say that God's timing is a whole lot part of his love for us. But when we look back and we see that his timing really was perfect, and it wasn't, our choice or our prayer or our hope, that we can see his love for us because we see that he was taking care of us and that his hand was on that the whole time. We may not see it in that moment, but in hindsight, I can tell you time after time after time that his timing and his love go together. My name is Fenwick. I'm a wife and a mom and a daughter of God, and I enjoy photography. I love photography because it captures families' moments that maybe they don't even realize they're having. I walk into each session really with no premonition because I want them to be them. And if a moment is a kid throwing a tantrum on the sidewalk because they can't have their candy till the session's done, it can be a sweet moment, believe it or not. And the parents look back on that for years and smile and laugh about it. Well, my husband and I married. My husband Joel and I married in 1998, so we're coming up on 16 years. We married knowing that I could not bear children. Joel really grew up wanting a child with blonde hair and blue eyes just like him. I mean, he envisioned that. They were going to play baseball and go to games and be father-son. That's just what he expected. And 5 years into our marriage, we received a call out of the blue. I was at work, and a sweet, sweet friend of ours called from a Women's Choice Resource Center and had just received a call about a young lady who was 7 months pregnant and was deciding that the Lord was calling her to place for adoption. So the Lord's hand was clearly on her life and on this pregnancy and over our son, and it was clearly over our marriage because we just received this call out of the blue, and yet it was instantaneously in his plan. There was no doubt on our end, there was no doubt on the birth mom's end, and it just, in 7 weeks' time, we were parents. Our journey to Nate was that we wanted children, and our prayer to God was, God, we want to start a family. And God answered that prayer. And then our second journey was, God, we want a little girl. And so God took us to China and gave us a little girl. We have this footage of her coming into our arms and smiling, and there were no tears. And we were just floored at how beautiful that moment was. And it felt straight out of Hollywood, honestly, because she just came right to us, and it was so happy. Our third journey was very different than the first two, and harder from day one than the first two. 2 weeks before we get on a plane to go to China, my mom dies of a heart attack suddenly. I remember being in that moment after we buried my mom and buying our plane tickets to go to China. And I just remember having no clue how I was going to get from this step to this step, and we had 2 weeks, and I just did not know how I was going to be in a place to be a mom to a brand new daughter. And Nora came as this precious little, wide-eyed, broken little girl, and I just got to hold her literally in this little baby wrap for 2 weeks, and we just grieved together. It was a very bonding moment for us that I would never, beforehand I'd guessed that grief would bond us. To think that that was the Lord's timing in my life. God used adoption in our children, in our 3 children, to really teach us about him adopting us. And we get to sit really close to the front and right at the sideline to see that. And that's what it took, I think, in my life, because I didn't have a good relationship with my dad. It took me adopting 3 children and loving them as if they came out of my womb to show how much God loves me. And he knew that I would need that in my life.